and I have the honour to introduce the first of our panel discussions this afternoon. The theme of the session will be about digital behaviour, and we'll be covering topics such as being, privacy, safety online, and the protection of children. If I could introduce our speakers, we have Lana Camuray Donnelly, who is Government Affairs and Public Policy Manager at Google. Then from the European Parliament, we have Marina Calurant, an MEP, and Adrián Vázquez Lazara. And oh, hello there, everybody. I can see you all now. The moderator for this session will be Els Bruggeman from Euro Consumers. So, Els, you look ready. I can see Mrs. Calurand, but I can't see Mr. Lazara or Mr. and Miss Donnelly. So, are we? Should we hang on a few more minutes? Are there technical problems that are preventing them joining, or?
I think maybe it's better to wait for.
Sure. You just bear with us a couple of minutes.
Do you hear me?
Yep. I do. There's a slight delay on the line. Very good. Slight delay on the line, but we do hear you. Just a message from the control room. Okay. Control room is saying we should go ahead. Maybe we wait just one more minute. Els, can I hand over to you anyway?
Yes. Hoping for everyone to join later on. But in the meanwhile, despite the difficulties that we have encountered, welcome to this very first Belgian panel of Euroconsumers' second international forum. And I'm very happy you have tuned into the Brussels channel to listen in and join the conversation on the digital responsibility report called Improving the Ecosystem that Google and Euroconsumers just launched yesterday. Now, I hear some of you think, why are we talking about improving a digital ecosystem when this international forum is all about sustainability? And I hear you, to a certain extent, you're right. At a first glance, it might seem like quite a stretch, but when you have a closer look at it, actually, it's not at all the case, quite the contrary. You see, at Euroconsumers, and I'm sure many of you will agree with me, there is no such thing as having a green transition on the one hand and a digital one on the other hand. No, those two things are in by definition, the one being a critical enabler for the other. We think we should embrace digitalization driven by data as a very concrete tool to help this green and just transition. I mean, it can deliver you valuable services, it can help shape consumer choice, and above all, it can help speed up the green transition. The opportunities are numerous, and we know from our surveys that also consumers see the potential of it. And this is exactly why it's so important to ensure a balanced digital ecosystem that delivers to consumers, that allows them to thrive in it and use its potential also to the benefit of the green transition. Now, to that regard, at Euroconsumers, we are convinced dialogue and partnership are very important. It's in our DNA. We see it as our duty as a consumer organization to also reach out and team up with all kinds of market players that are equally convinced as we are that collaboration is key to move forward. Does this mean we have to agree on everything? Not at all, of course, but every step we can take, every match we can find between a consumer need and the capability of a market player is a very concrete step ahead ahead to a more balanced ecosystem that is able to respond to the present challenges. And we are very glad to have found a partner in Google for this. Now, the digital responsibility report that we will presenting to you today, it isn't our first collaboration. In fact, it's a new step in a 5-year-old partnership. Since the very beginning, we have launching several initiatives, both at global level and at national level in the countries where we are present, being Belgium, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and Brazil, each and every time to educate consumers, to ensure, to educate consumers, to empower and ensure a trustworthy environment. New report with this that we will go into present to you. We want to take this partnership to a next level. It's a step further. I've said it before, the internet has huge potential to improve the life of consumers. But the condition is that this environment is safe, and above all, that consumers also believe that it's safe. And to that regard, we have identified 3 key areas we think are very important for consumers, being family safety, being digital well-being, and online privacy and security. It is a very old saying, a very old adagio, but it's so true. Knowing starts by measuring. And that's the reason why for this report, we based it on a very large European-wide consumer survey. These data, they will allow us to have a thorough understanding of consumer behavior, but also their expectations. It will allow us to have, to lead an open and constructive dialogue. Above all, it will lead us to leads the way for our joint activities in the future. Now, before leaving the floor to Lana Donnelly of Google, who will give you all the details on this, I want to have a warm welcome to Ms. Marina Jurund. So I hope I pronounced it the right way. Apologies if it isn't. Jurund is in Parliament for the SD faction, and she was so kind to accept her invitation and give her a I think normally Lara should be on the call to present the report. If not, maybe I can go directly to Ms. Jurund, who has received the report, and maybe you can share at first glance, having a first look at it, what has struck you the most, and how do you think this can be best addressed? I think we have a problem. Is Mr. Jurund? Hi. Hi, Lana. Very nice to see you.
Hi. I think there's a lag because I've been trying to speak and nobody could hear me. I'm so sorry about all the technical issues.
No, very nice that you could join, and despite all the technical difficulties, I'm going to leave the floor to you to present our digital responsibility report.
Sure, I'm very happy to, and I'm so sorry for the delay. I've been trying to join for half an hour, I think, but I'm glad it worked in the end. So thank you so much, Els, for the intro to the report, and I can present some of those results and our view of it. First, about this work with Euroconsumers. We've been working with the member groups of Euroconsumers since 2015 in Italy, in Belgium, Spain, and Portugal, with the goal to really educate and empower consumers by providing the right programs and products and really practical tools to help keep people safe online and to address their concerns and their challenges. And so we've decided in this study to focus on the areas that Els mentioned because we knew that's what was really top of mind for people and for consumers. Our hope was really to deepen our understanding of how consumers relate to these topics so that it could inform our current and future efforts inside Google, particularly the efforts that we deliver jointly with Euroconsumers, the campaigns, the awareness campaigns, etc., Also so that we could strengthen a constructive, really public dialogue about consumer protection online and about really unlocking the benefits of the digital world for people. And to have that dialogue more broadly with other stakeholders, with policymakers such as yourselves, and thank you for being our guests today. So thanks to Ipsos and to their very thorough work, we were able to survey more than 18,000 people. And the key insights that we collected are the following. On the digital well-being front, our research has shown that although the majority of people are not too concerned about their own use of digital technology, 24%, it is much more common for people to be concerned about other people's use of technology, in particular the use of tech by children and teenagers. And that was a concern for 53%. So one first interesting figure. The results also really highlighted the duality of our relationship with digital technology. We see evidence for how attached some people are to it, but we also see evidence that people are trying to achieve a more balanced use of tech by reducing the amount of time they spend online. So this idea of well-being is really prevalent. 2 people in 5 say that they frequently or always use their smartphone or tablet in bed before going to sleep. More than a quarter have tried to reduce the amount of time they spend online at some point in the last year. So there is very much awareness of this. So what we've been doing at Google to support people in finding balance with technology is providing some practical tips and tools to develop their own sense of digital well-being and what works for them. And these are gathered at wellbeing.google, and you will find a lot of these ideas and the tools that you can really use every day. So tools in Android, tools when you visit YouTube that can help you keep track of, for example, the time you're spending online, etc. And we also try to work directly with partners like Euroconsumers to spread the usage of these tools, to make sure there is awareness of them. So in 2019, we started working together with Euroconsumers on digital well-being, specifically with Altro Consumo in Italy, with a campaign, and I hope I don't butcher this pronunciation, that was titled Vivi Internet al meglio. And that was really to raise awareness of this issue. On privacy next, our research has shown that many people think online companies are not open enough about the personal data they collect and how it's used. Only 19% believes they have sufficient transparency. The research also shows a majority of users of the biggest online platforms are aware that they can view and adjust their privacy and security settings, 66%. And many are using those settings actively, 57%. So those are very reassuring numbers. Most people think the amount of personal data collected online makes it difficult for consumers to protect their privacy, 69%. Few people feel in control of the personal data collected about them, 21%. So these are all results that give us important insights. First, they show us how important it is to really continue committing to helping more users really be in control of their data and protecting their privacy. Our CEO Sundar Pichai said last June, privacy is at the heart of everything we do. This reflects a very strong concern inside Google, from the very top of the company to the engineers who code our products every day, to really ensure privacy and also user trust. And we really hope you've seen this concern reflected concretely in Google's work over the years. This doesn't mean everything is finished and that we've solved this equation, but there is an enormous amount of work that has gone into the concrete tools that we're happy to see consumers use every day to adjust privacy to what suits them. Google has really worked very hard to lead the industry, creating and sharing some safety technology and raising the standards for everyone. So we do this digitally in our products, but we also do it sort of bricks and mortar work physically. So last year we opened the Google Safety Engineering Center based in Munich. This is our global hub for privacy and safety engineering. And the goal is really, this is really kind of made in Europe. The goal is building privacy and security that works for everyone and continuing to iterate on that. Responsible data practices are extremely important as well. And here we've got a privacy policy that we've worked on very hard over the years to make sure it's drafted in simple language, that it's clear, where we've created texture with embedded controls, with videos. The idea is really to help users understand what information we collect, why, how they can manage that, how they can control that, how they can delete their information with many tools that we've been developing over the years. But the survey results also confirm how important it is to keep this constant dialogue. And Euroconsumers is such an important actor on this because we constantly have more to learn. There are specific matters where all the different stakeholders are not always going to be fully aligned, but that's why it's so important to talk, to gain new perspectives on the concern that consumers have, to really understand them, and also it's an opportunity to clarify our decisions to an interlocutor who really represents our first and most important focus. Consumers are also for Google users, and the relationship of trust is extremely important. And then the last area of focus is family safety. Our research has shown fewer than half of parents think their children are aware of potential dangers online, 44%. But, and this is good news, many parents are taking steps to guide their children, talking to them about what they're doing online, 77%, what is appropriate to share on social media, 79%, and the great majority, 92%, have established house rules or some form of limits to their child's internet usage. And this was a really striking figure. Children today are really growing up with technology. They're not growing into it like previous generations, like my generation. So together with Euroconsumers, we've really doubled down on our commitments in that field. And we're working with local experts to really help parents and kids use technology in a way that's been agreed between them and that's right for each family. So we've worked with Euroconsumers as associates across Europe, with Altro Consumo in Italy, with Deco Proteste in Portugal, Testacha with the OCU, to really drive locally relevant initiatives that will speak to people directly. We don't have time to go through all of them, and I want to be brief and make sure we have room for discussion. But in Spain, we have the campaign Vive Internet Seguro that was done in collaboration with OCU last year. It included a guide, tips for children and parents, for educators, for senior citizens as well on staying safe online. We've worked with influencers in Spanish social media to launch a campaign there to really raise awareness of digital responsibility and safety. We've done something similar with Testacha in Belgium with Cyber Simple, a broad umbrella effort. It includes an educational program in partnership with Testacha and with Bibliothèques Sans Frontières and Child Focus. The program is called Cyber Heroes. The idea is to teach parents and educators to talk to kids about using the web safely. And there's very much more done in that field as well. So as Els was saying in her introduction, we look at the results of this survey and of the activities we've shared and the things we're building really as ways to empower consumers and to continue improving the ecosystem. And we know that there's still a lot to do. That's why we really wanted to present the outcomes of this research, the clear figures that emerge from talking to almost 20,000 users individually. And we also wanted to make sure we present what we're doing as we learn from this, and then to find out more about what you thought as well.
Thank you very much, Lana, for giving this thorough overview of what is a very impressive digital report, and also pointing out the value of dialogue on both challenges and the opportunities. Let me turn quickly to Ms. Marina Current, that has been so kind to still join us despite all the technical difficulties. Ms. Current, maybe very quickly, having a look at the report, all its results, what exactly strikes you the most, and what, in your opinion, needs to be done to address this? Please, Ms. Current.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And I'd like to congratulate both Euroconsumers and Google for this report. What was striking in this report? It reminds me my country 20 years ago. I come from Estonia, and I would say that it's the most digitalized country in the world, with thousands of online services, being the only country in the world with online voting, online police, school, prescription, medicine, and I can continue. So what I saw in the report are exactly the points that our society discussed 20, 25 years ago. And I very much agree with what was said about children, what was said about generally about consumers. Because what do we need? We need educated consumers who make informed decisions and who are confident that their data is being used, exchanged, and stored in a safe and secure way. So it very much comes to the word trust. If there is no trust, Google can offer thousands of services. People will not look at those. If there is no trust, governments can provide very, very, very good online services, but people will not take advantage of that. It means that the trust should be on all levels. Citizens to government, governments to service providers, consumers to service providers, all the different levels. How to achieve it? There has to be political dedication. And the COVID crisis, I would say, has accelerated the discussions about digitalization. And I think that the COVID crisis has shown what societies where there is access to quick internet, where there are online services, where internet is available, how much they benefit from it. Societies, individuals, consumers. At the same time, we should not be naive. Yes, there are also challenges. And I looked at the numbers, how people think, how much they are in charge of their information. It raises the question that they are not fully confident, at least not the ones that Google and this report approached. So I come to my first point back. It's important to gain trust. What can be done? Uh, I'm a very strong believer in inclusiveness and multi-stakeholder approach, which means that platforms, governments, individuals, consumers, industry have to cooperate. Because the digitalization and digital online services are a field where one actor can't be efficient if not cooperating and listening to other actors. From the European Parliament perspective, I like very much that digitalization is high on political priority. My question at the moment is, do we have enough finances? Because as somebody said yesterday, I was at another Zoom, policy without money is hallucination. So we do need also finances, inclusiveness, higher political agenda, and finances. And maybe to conclude, one of the first steps, what I want to see in the EU is safe and secure digital ID. I'm not talking about stalking citizens, but I think that we need secure identification in cyber the same way as we have in real life. When you go to the bank, you show your ID card. When you do banking transaction online, you should have digital ID. So it's a challenge because people do not have enough trust towards their governments. But what we're trying to explain also in Estonia, we have to be very careful with information we give out. Google, sorry, but we should be more afraid of Google than governments. We should be more afraid of big platforms where we do not have today full knowledge and openness how our data is being used. And my very final point, I'm looking forward to the data strategy that EU is at the moment working on. Personal data, GDPR, I think it was a great success, but EU has lost data strategy today to big platforms that are not of European origin. So we have to be much smarter with industry data, exchange of industry data to turn it to work to the benefit of our people. I will stop here, and I apologize in advance. I have 4 minutes, but then unfortunately I have to leave because this panel started much later than it was supposed to start. I apologize for that.
Jurend, for your very nice intervention. I very much like you pointing out the factor of trust about data, trust to be safe online. I think this is key, and let it be a way forward. Unfortunately, due to the technical difficulties, this is it for the discussion for now. It's only a first discussion, and actually I'm really looking forward to continue this at another moment, because this is what the Digital Responsibility Report is all about, leading up to an open and a constructive dialogue to find solutions and to create the trust that is so needed to have a balanced digital ecosystem. That leaves it here for thank you for joining. I hope to continue at the moment, and I hope you can still enjoy the many panels still scheduled for today. Bye-bye.